This is Brandon Truster from PSA Games. How are you? Welcome to the show. So I've already done this video technically once for, I made it for personal friends, family members, and some of my close Twitter followers. Just sort of frickin' hack and slash our way through whether or not I should be even doing this or not. And the reception I got was mostly positive. And I've made a few adjustments since then, so we're going to try it again and put it on a more public level. I'm going to challenge the censorship of various social media, alright? So, my game, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Enjoy the End of the World, does feature, come on, the world's ending. You're going to want to get laid. There's going to be some sex involved, obviously, so. Basically, what I'm asking of you as the viewer is, do I go too far with any of these images? Do I piss you off with them? Do I turn you on or what? Just let me know. I'm going to number the images as I bring them up, etc. So keep in mind these images are for a boss battle technically. I mean, it is a boss battle and it isn't. You can't technically lose. It's more of a scripted event. But yeah, that's what we're going to be dealing with here. Okay, so here's the first image. Image number 1. This one I'm not worried about at all. Whoops, wait a minute. I shouldn't use that program to view. This program works a lot better. Alright, yeah, obviously nothing wrong with that. So the setup of this, so this is this character represents a female that you save like maybe 1/3 of the way through the game. She's like an old flame of yours, and you save her, and she has this extremely positive reception of you, and you're under the impression that this girl's really into you, etc. So hopefully I made the characters good enough that you actually feel a connection with this female, even though it's like she's a California styled stoner chick basically, and I know not every guy is into that, but hey, I'm appealing to the demographic of stoners who watch fucking Adult Swim, okay? So, hopefully those guys do find the female appealing in some way. And you save her, but then later on in the game, right before the end, you have this dream sequence where you save her in this notebook paper style dream sequence. And it's all supposed to represent something, which we'll get to, but, so after you defeat these monsters that are basically about to rape her or whatever, she approaches you and she's holding the knife, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, what did I do wrong? But it turns out you didn't do a goddamn thing wrong. You did everything right. Just because you did everything right doesn't mean that you win, right? Okay, so here's the second image. She's a little closer to you now, a little more detailed. She tells you, and this is a stab at role-playing game tropes. She reminds you that, oh, hey, the world's ending. I just had to make sure my knife was still equipped. And she takes off her glasses. That's kind of a really interesting thing, I hope, because she never removes her glasses throughout the entirety of the game. This is the only situation where she takes her glasses off. So, yeah, she's forefront right there. But wait a minute, who's that guy? Who's that guy? I'll tell you who that guy is. That guy is the antagonist, right? Okay, so here's the next frame of the battle. This is what you're shown next. And yeah, I mean, I call him an antagonist, and yeah, by all reasonable logic, he technically is, but he's not someone you ever fight in the game. He just appears at inopportune times, pisses you off. I sure hope I wrote his character to be as annoying as humanly possible, because he's supposed to be. He's that kind of guy who contributes nothing to society and magically gets everything the way he wants it without trying, and including getting any girl that he wants or whatever. So he starts macking on your girl in this dream sequence. Of course, at this point, you as the player or the protagonist itself is starting to experience a little annoyance, a little confusion, a little pain, suffering. Seriously, I want people who play my game to experience every emotion that is conceivably possible to experience. I want you to experience happiness, laughter, sadness. I want you to experience it all. And she refers to him as Dude, which is funny because the main character's moniker is Dude, so the protagonist is a little confused. You're calling him Dude? I thought I was Dude. I know this image probably isn't too bad. I mean, it's just a girl in her fucking underwear. That's in newspapers, magazines. We see that shit every day. That's not the type of thing I'm really worried about that much. Alright, so here was this image number 4. Sorry if I lose count. I'm not a mathematician, for fuck's sakes. Alright, so this one's a little more questionable. I'm not too worried about it still. I mean, she still has her clothes on. He's just kind of like groping her and making her, let her feel good. So you might notice a little red X there. This comes at the advice of a Twitter friend I have, a Monstergeddon. He's developing a game called Monstergeddon. It looks like a great game, and honestly, if you're watching this and you've heard me say that, please go check out his game. It's not done yet, but I think he's been working on it for like 8 years, and I find that quite admirable, honestly. Anyways, he suggested I make the X's red, so they stand out more. So I'm not putting an X on the phallic part of the antagonist because I'm trying to censor myself or anything like that. It has more to do with the protagonist's subconscious, you know, he's trying to block that out. He doesn't want to see it, kind of a thing. So that's, if any red X's that appear from this point forward, that's why they're there. It is a dream sequence, and it has to do with something that happens at the end of the game, which we'll get more into here in a little bit. Alright, so okay, this one's a little more questionable. Alright, I mean, what do you think? Does this piss you off? Is it suggestive? Well, yeah, obviously it's suggestive. But, you know, that could be anything. She could be praying. Who knows what she's really doing? It's merely suggested. And please note the little I in there. That's going to come into play a little later. So, I mean, as the player or protagonist, you know, you're being exposed to basically you saved this girl's life on more than one occasion, by the way. And now this guy who has contributed literally nothing to her life is, you know, she's pleasing him and not you, and doing so in front of you, which is meant to tick off the player and or protagonist, right? I mean, if your girlfriend cheated on you right in front of you, you'd be a little pissed, right? And if you play my game and you get to this part and you're not pissed off, then I must have failed or done something wrong, alright? I sure hope this isn't offensive. Why it would be, I don't know, because we're all born naked. We all came into the world because 2 other people had sex, and there should be literally no stigma associated with it. Who gives a flying fuck? It's the human anatomy. You take human anatomy class in high school, right? What was this, like image number 6 probably? Alright. Alright, well, it gets a little... So this is actually the first image where I had the red X put into place, and it's because it actually shows the part a little bit. Again, you know, the protagonist is mentally blocking that out. He doesn't want to see it. And, yeah, I mean, this is pretty suggestive. Might even be a little wet and hot and horny and blah, 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 blah. So please note these little scribbly patterns. This is to illustrate the frustration of the protagonist. I hope I made that painfully clear. How about we go to the next one? I mean, yeah, that's kind of bad. Not really. I don't know. Me personally, I've been exposed to the worst our society has to freaking offer. So, like, none of this stuff bothers me at all. I might get aroused, but I'm not like, oh, you shouldn't have done that, man. Alright, so here's number 7. Now, this is one that could be... This one might be worse than the last. It doesn't show the part, but it's definitely implying that something's going on here. And of course, these scribbles continuously get larger as this whole scenario progresses, and the protagonist obviously is getting pissed off, basically. He's getting frustrated, confused, aroused, all at the same time. He doesn't understand why this is happening, etc. And it's supposed to make you as the player feel like that everything I've done up to this point must mean nothing, because in spite of what I've done, this is happening right now. I should be the one, you know, behind that caboose or whatever. Am I using the right language here? I hope I'm not pissing anybody off, or at the same time, I hope I am pissing everybody off. You're supposed to be pissed off at this, but not for the reason you think. Alright, yeah, that's questionable. So if that image pisses you off, comment, say, hey, yeah, dude, don't do that. Which, in that case, I'll probably still do it, but I'll put more barriers in your way to protect you from your fragile little view of reality. I like to deal in reality. I'm an artist. Always have been. This is the 8th image. We're getting... oh yeah, she's getting really close to getting her fortune cookie. Alright, and then again, there's the red X. You can see the part there. Is that bad? Should I put a black box on it? I don't know. What do you think? Are you really so pissed off right now that you just want to murder me in cold blood or something? This whole scene challenges that very concept, so stick around if you're interested in whether or not people should murder each other because they take their mate away or something. I don't know. But yeah, this isn't just some lazy excuse to have pornography in the game. It is actually a part of the narrative. It isn't just the world physically that's ending for the player. It's the protagonist's personal world that is also ending at the same time. It's a lot to deal with, and in real life you would have a difficult time dealing with it. Therefore, if you're having a difficult time dealing with this imagery, then hey, welcome to reality. You don't like reality? The exit's to the right. You can leave this place anytime you want. Alright, so this is this is meant to be a gag one. And she's like, oh my Jesus, mega fucking Christ. If any woman has said that while orgasming, having an orgasm or whatever, I would eat my hat. Now I don't even wear one, so he becomes a big black vibrator, and this is just, it has nothing to do with racism. I have nothing against black people, Mexicans, or anybody else, but there seems to be a social trope, I guess, that, you know, black males magically have a larger phallic unit than anybody else, and that is why, you know, white women seem to desire them. I'm only basing off my own experience. I've had plenty of women reject me because I wasn't black. And this is just me kind of reconciling with that. It's the protagonist reconciling with that. It's hopefully everybody coming to terms with that. I think this is hilarious. Oh, notice the eye's bigger. It's going to come into play here a little bit. It's going to hopefully make sense. I mean, really, if you want to make sense of anything I create, actively engage in what I create. And don't just be a passenger. Just don't be off to the side, you know. My game's not going to fucking hurt you. It might traumatize you a little bit, but fuck, I was traumatized by Undertale a little bit, and I fucking love that game. Alright, the next panel, this is like, you're actually regressing at this point, because how is this image any worse than any of the previous ones, other than the use of the C word there? Is that bad? No, not really. People say come all the time. Come over to my house. Oh, but when we use the word come and it's associated with sex, and all of a sudden we've crossed some weird fucking border that doesn't technically exist just because you have some qualms or something. I don't know. Are you a snowflake? Are you watching this? You're in the wrong place. Are you a kid? Get the fuck out of here. You don't belong here. Alright. And that's what it is, you know. You see the scribbles now. The fucking protagonist is on borderline. He's so borderline pissed off and confused and fucked in the head by witnessing this. You know, I saved you, but you're cheating on me just because I went to finish my job. And I just want to fucking kill myself or kill somebody. So it's like, you know, what's he going to do? Alright, so we got to this part. Of course, the antagonist is laughing at you right now, because he knows he gets what he doesn't deserve. He doesn't deserve anything. He's never contributed to society in his entire life, and he gets literally everything handed to him because of his off belief in some sort of spiritual mumbo jumbo or whatever. He rants on and on about it. Trust me, he's annoying. Please hate that guy. I hate him too. Nothing wrong with it. So you see the heart with the eye. This is actually a logo I made for myself on my artwork a long time ago. Back in 2014, I started signing the back of my artwork with this heart with the quote-unquote all-seeing eye. I mean, to me, it's just a fucking eye. It just symbolizes being aware of something. And of course, this Unity consciousness suddenly becomes aware of what you're thinking about, what's going through the player's head, what's going through the protagonist's head. It's like, well, what are you going to do, buddy? Are you going to give in to the urge to kill, you know, this guy? Or are you going to just, like, be cool, take it for what it is, and move on with life, kind of a thing? Is this too offensive? Are the like, look at the pixelated boobs. I mean, is that really that bad? I mean, you probably saw your mom naked. That's probably worse. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't seen your mom naked. Maybe seeing her naked is a fucking sheer joy. I don't know. Never done. Notice the word love and hate hidden amongst the scribbles. That's duality. The heart shape is meant to be two faces coming together and sharing the same eye, so it's duality coming together into unity. That's why I keep calling it unity consciousness or God. God, man, I wish God looked like that. The God I saw when I nearly died didn't look anything like that. But all right, we're going to go to find, obviously, we've already passed the worst and most controversial images at this point. You know, anything that's sexual is behind us. This stops being sexual, of course. And I haven't figured out if I'm going to make it to where this is a decision on the player or if it's an on-rails sort of thing. But here's the image that would be used in the event that the protagonist finally can't take it anymore, kills the antagonist for all of his egotistical, selfish tomfoolery. And it makes this unity consciousness heart shape, eye red, you know, symbolizing, oh, I'm angry. You should not have done that. But keep in mind, and well, this is for Monstergeddon also, because he brought this into the equation when I was speaking with him. This isn't actually unity conscious, it's just the protagonist's perception of unity consciousness within this dream world that his subconscious mind has created. So I don't think God is necessarily judgmental. I mean, why would you create something then condemn it to hell because it did something you didn't want it to do because certain circumstances presented to it, right? I think, at least from my experience, I think God's this unconditional loving being. So much so that, you know, think of history's worst people. Think of Hitler and fucking anyone who's murdered millions of people. I mean, these historical figures are fucking flying out of everybody's armpits. We're fucking saturating that shit every day, right? And, you know, I have this feeling that God or unity conscious or whatever it is we meet when we die probably forgives all those people because it's all aware. It is all knowing. It sees everything you do. So why would it be pissed off knowing the circumstances that brought you to that point of your life where you gave in to some sick urge to, like, say, kill this annoying fucking this annoying piece of shit, right? I don't think God would really send you hell, but that is the protagonist's perception of the situation. He thinks, oh my God, I've done something wrong. I feel bad for it, but at the same time, I felt like I did something right. And, you know, with my game, I want to continually challenge people's viewpoints and thoughts on our existence here. And I do that in a variety of ways. I'm not going to go into it here. But, yeah, just know that we come into this life and we're expected to be challenged so we learn something. That is a philosophy of certain people. And in a way, I agree. But I also disagree in the sense that there is such thing as too much pain and suffering. I think pain and suffering does challenge people and help them improve their personal lives and grow spiritually. At the same time, there's got to be a fucking drawing point. You know, there's got to be a line in the sand. It's like, hey, don't torture people this fucking much. Jesus Christ. You're going to make people not want to reincarnate into this fucking place if you treat their lives that poorly. You know what I mean? Anyways, this is what I wanted to go over. I hope I covered all my bases this time. I guess the only other base I really have to cover at the moment is, you know, how this ties into the game's ending. And if you don't like spoilers, then end the video now, because this is kind of a spoiler. So anyways, you know, if you make it to the end of the game, you, the girl, and all your friends, you escape the city because it's no longer safe, and you begin to live at the female's family farm, which is out in the country and near the villain Gil Bates's mansion. So you all decide, hey, that's the place to go. And you go there, your relationship develops, it's very positive, but of course, you got to be responsible. You decide, well, I need to actually infiltrate his mansion and take care of the guy and get rid of him, because he's going to eventually kill us if we do nothing. So alone, you, the protagonist, go to the mansion, infiltrate it, in order to make the world a better place. But while you're doing that, your little lady friend's home alone. And guess who shows up? The antagonist. And guess what happens? She sleeps with him. And guess what? You arrive just in time to catch this act happening. And you're presented with a situation. What do? Do you really kill him now, since it's not a dream anymore, since it's manifested into reality? Or do you be a bigger man, quote unquote, I guess, and just move on with life. My game will challenge you in this way, not just as a game and beating bosses and shit like that, but it'll challenge your perceptions of our real world. And I think that's the number one reason why I need to not change too much of what I created. I want you to have a very real experience when you play my game, even though the graphics are very simple. Yeah, I just want you to experience something real, and I hope that you learn something or take something from it, and that it makes you a more powerful person. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. Please, like, share, comment, tell me I'm an idiot. Go ahead and tell me that this is just a shallow excuse to have pornography in a game, because I can tell you this much, it is not. Have a good day, people.